Today is the day. Dire Crowley was the real villain all along. Hello and welcome. Welcome back. We're gonna yap about Crowley today. Unfortunately, I couldn't do the full like slideshow thing that I usually do when I do these things. But I do have stuff written down so I can actually stay on topic. And I still have some pictures. They're just pictures of Crowley though. It's nothing that specific or anything. But we will be talking about them. We'll also be using them a little bit as like reference. Maybe Crowley was the trouble we got along the way. Yeah, maybe. I'm thinking about maybe adding background music, but I don't know. Just give me a second real quick. I'm going to mute just in. Okay. I think we got some background music going. Yes. Probably. But I don't want it to be too loud. Anyways, hello. I do not have a pointer. So I made this. Subject is Crowley. I do have a different pointer, but I thought this was funnier. Crowley is not only Walt Disney, but also probably the crow from Sleeping Beauty, and that makes me mad for no reason. Funny you ask that, because one of the first things that I want to talk about is I don't think Crowley has anything to do with Maleficent's Raven. I gotta... But yeah, this is my pointer. It's a replica of Alucard's weapons, okay? Because I think he's cool. Anyway, I was gonna say, I don't think Crowley has anything to do with Maleficent's Raven. Point number 1. This outfit. As you can see here, he's got apples. Good, I don't want him to be related to the crow. Too bad, he is related to the crow from Snow White. Sleeping Beauty. Yeah, Snow White. The crow from Snow White. This man has apples on his shirt. And he's going on vacation. Therefore, I do not think he has anything to do with Maleficent's Raven. Maleficent's Raven is actually competent. Surprisingly. Because, like, if you can... Because, like, the Evil Queen's crow barely shows up in the movie, and when it does show up, it's kind of like this weird little cowardly thing hiding around in a skull. So, yeah. I don't think he has anything to do with the Raven. Which makes it difficult because his name is Crowley. But he has, like, Raven on his cane. I don't know if you can notice this. Mine for the twisting. The crow from Sleeping Beauty is mine. We'll come back to that later, but I just want to point out that this key-shaped walking stick says Raven on it. Although I do have a better image. It's from Crowley's own card. Like, if I can get the image back over here on screen. Oh no. The image image is too big. Oh no. It doesn't want to show up. Let me just put this back. There we go. Let me just move that here. So then I can pull up the correct image and then use my silly little prop to point that this is Raven. Hello, good morning, Marcus. Hope your weeks are going well. By the way, I love the art you used for the thumbnail. Thank you. I made it last night. It's like it's the same meme that I used for the ortho stream where I was just talking about ortho. But I made it different. Marcus, your name camouflages with the background. Oh yeah, it kind of does. It's purple. But anyways, we're yapping about Crowley. He's suspicious. His stick says Raven on it. But I think that's just because it's like a walking stick for Night Raven College. It has nothing to do with him being related to a raven. I like how you have the gun pointed like the pulse that people use for presentations. Yeah. I thought it would be funnier because like I just reused the actual asset that I had already with the Alucard gun. But I just flipped it around. That's what it's for. Yes, this is my pointer. Because I just thought it would be funny. And it matches the outfit anyway, because I wanted to use this outfit. I like it. Anyways, Crowley, suspicious. Despite the fact that his stick says Raven on it, he is in fact not based off of a raven. I do believe he is based off of a crow instead. It's tricky because there isn't really a distinction between crows and ravens in the language in Japanese, despite the fact that crows and ravens are two different species. But they're very similar that they usually get mixed up together, so. I heard something fall. Oh no. Oh no, where? Hope it wasn't on my end. Anyways. I do believe he is based off of a crow. Because when you talk about Malleus's missing father, whose name sounds like Raven, he actually sounds like a competent person, despite being quite cowardly. He actually sounds like he knows what he's doing, and he was very loyal to Melanor, Malleus's mother, which is why I don't think Crowley is necessarily that person, but they still could be related. I'm more inclined to believe the theory that Crowley's probably, like, related to Revern, but not actually Malleus's father. Because if he was, I feel like there would have been more random lines from Lilia kind of commenting about Crowley, but there isn't really anything that I can find because whenever they interact fairly normal. My baby brother made the dresser fall. Oh no! Not the dresser. Not the dresser. But that's one Crowley theory to talk about. Next Crowley theory. He knows something. He is plotting something. I can feel it in my bones that he is up to no good. Well, here's his card regularly. Like, I do firmly believe he has no idea what he's doing, though. Because he still doesn't come off as like he knows what he's doing, but at the same time, it could just be an act. Oh no. Oh no, that's not good. Oh no! What a creature. It's not good. Now I will be discussing what Crowley's probably plotting. Commonly, I do remember hearing this a while back. This was before anything with the actual Diasomnia chapter was released. There was like a theory going around. I don't know if it actually started on the Japanese side of the fandom, but it got very popular for a while about a time loop. Like the setting of Twisted Wonderland is stuck in like a time loop, and the U characters are summoned to try and break it. This baby's giving me gray hairs. I'm not having kids. Oof. They do be handfuls, don't they? Another funny thing about your pose now is that it also proves how much you hate the man. So much that you have a gun. Trigger finger. Yeah. It's not that I hate Crowley, I just don't trust him. He gives off Undertaker vibes. If you've ever seen Black Butler, then you know what I mean. Because the man comes off goofy and silly and like he's not up to anything no good or whatever, but then you realize what he's planning and you're like, oh, you're unhinged. So yeah, that's why I have a little bit of a distrust to Crowley. That's okay, we'll see you again, Fabina. We'll continue discussing Crowley. See you next time. But yes. Crowley, I do not trust him. He is definitely plotting something. And back to kind of talking about the time loop theory. That was a thing that was going around back in the earlier days before the Insomnia chapter kind of dropped. People were speculating that, oh, maybe Crowley's summoning these people from like the real world or whatever to try and break this time loop, and he's like failed a bunch of times. So like he knows what's happening, and he's trying to get like the player character, which is us, to like fix the problems that are occurring. But it's not doing so good or something. I don't know. I just remember hearing that a while ago, like a couple years ago, and I don't think people agree with it anymore because it seems like we're not doing a time loop. But I do remember that one kind of being a little bit popular because around that time we had the Halloween event, the second half of the first Halloween event, which was Endless Halloween, where Malleus kind of showed off that he can just casually stop time when he feels like it, so. If Crowley was aware of you coming to the Twist world, the question then becomes, did he intend for them to come to his world, and if so, why? Yes, these are the questions we are asking and pondering about. Because if he knows something, he's playing dumb. He's playing dumb real good. I also kind of have the belief that he's purposely allowing the overblots to happen for purposes beyond our understanding at the moment. And it probably has something to do with Grimm as well. Because Grimm is a strange little creature. Nobody really knows why he's here, but everybody just kind of accepts him. Like, yeah, this is just a magical beast creature, who cares? He's chill, you know? We love Grimm here. He's our boy. Our baby. He is our son. But he does have mysterious origins. He's very dead set on being the most powerful mage in all of Twisted Wonderland, and it makes me wonder, is this some sort of cursed creature? Is this some strange overblot experiment that Crowley has got his hands on and is now trying to use for reasons beyond our understanding? Personally, I think he's trying to revive the Great Seven in some odd fashion with whatever the Grimm is. Grimm is a strange creature, honestly. But that's just my thoughts on it. So, That's one thing. Again, I do not think he either doesn't know what he's doing because he's just working for somebody else who's more competent than him, or he genuinely is putting on a dumb person act. Like, he's just pretending he knows nothing. Maybe Crowley is just keeping grim because he's aware of the otherworldly magic he possesses. So either he wants to experiment on him to see how the magic can be used by humans, or he's keeping grim for purposes. Indeed. Security reasons, since his species must be more powerful than him. Ooh, I like that. I'm gonna change the image real quick just to keep things entertaining. Enjoy this countdown image. Yeah, he's definitely plotting something. Because he does mention, I think he's the only one who has mentioned that overblots are also caused by negative emotions. Because I don't think Ida ever mentions that when in the Ignahide chapter when he's talking about like overblots and how like that's kind of part of his know-how, his knowledge, what his family's company's purpose in life is studying. Because like he was like confused about Leona and Vil. He's like, how did these people overblot when they're like so competent with their magic use? Was that a teaser for before the game came out? Yeah, this is a countdown image for when the game was gonna launch back in like 2019, 2020. Because it came out around the tail end of 2019. I remembered when these were being posted. It was so exciting. I think like it went backwards from Hearts Labille to Crowley. So that was fun. But yeah, Crowley seems to know more than he lets on because he's the one who talked about overblots to us. Like he let us know ahead of time what they were, even though he didn't really need to. Probably because of the fact that in the prologue you kind of encounter an overblock creature anyway. And he kind of explains it to you because like obviously we have no idea how magic works in this world, so he's just like, oh yeah, you're probably gonna need to know this now that you're gonna be a student here. Even though you were originally just a janitor. But yeah, that's partially why I think he knows more than he lets on, because like again, during that prologue, he just casually has transformation potions lying around, and then we have lore saying that transformation potions are very heavily regulated. So like, how does he just casually have a transformation potion lying around just to casually test us? I wonder why he decides to not only have the raven imagery on his clothes, but also to hide his upper face with the mask. Could it be that could it be more than school pride? Interesting. Yeah, I think he's purposely kind of playing on the fact that crows and ravens, at least in the Japanese language, don't have much of a distinction between each other. Which also makes him a lot more mysterious because it's hard to pinpoint what he's referencing to. I still think it's the Snow White crow over the Maleficent raven. And there have been some theories where it's like, oh, Crowley's probably Malleus's missing father. But I'm like, no, I don't think so. Ugh, Crowley. Hello, Adriana. We are discussing Crowley theories and plot relevant stuff and like Grimm. Why Snow White specifically? Glad you ask. I will bring up the image again. Because during the Scarabia chapter, he goes on vacation, and this is his outfit, and he has apples on his shirt. And apples are Pomfiore imagery. There was also the Twisted Wonderland animated trailer, teaser thing. And when Crowley shows up, he's like shown after the Pump Fiore section. And he just has weird connections to it. I saw fan art of Vil picking Crowley like how the Evil Queen did. I never saw the apples. Yeah, he has apples on his shirt, on his Hawaiian shirt, and there's also a crow on it too. And I think specifically that it is supposed to be a crow because it looks pretty small. And crows are smaller than ravens. That is a fact. I also find it funny that he keeps the mask on even when he's going on vacation. He's just dedicated to the bit. He also keeps the gloves on. Like, why are you keeping the gloves on, sir? Why does he have gloves on? Exactly. Why are you keeping the gloves on? You're not Rook. But also he has, surprisingly for an outfit that you only see like for one chapter, he has detail on his arms. It's a little bit hard to point to. Like, he has that subtle detail in the arms that indicate musculature, which not a lot of the other characters have, despite the fact that they're supposed to have it. We talked about that previously. I'm just surprised Crowley has it. Like, I did not expect him to have decent arms, to be honest. Or the amount of effort put into his arms. For just a one-off kind of gag outfit. Your gun being pointed on him. No nose glance. Friendly reminder, this is my prop. Yeah, Crowley. And now we have him back on the screen again. Just put him here, you know? Just put him in the background. The key says Raven on it, too, if you never noticed. He's also covered in a bunch of keys. And mirrors. Maybe he has gloves and a mask because he's not as human as he wants us to think, which is supposed to be... which is supported by the arms being different. Oh yeah, I definitely know for a fact this man is not human. He has pointy ears. He's definitely a fae. Like, I specifically think he's probably some type of bird-related fae, hence all the crow and bird imagery on him. Which is why I think it's weird that Lilia doesn't mention anything about Crowley that comes off as strange. Then again, it could just be because he can tell that Crowley is a fae, so he's not that off-put by it. I call him useless. He doesn't help you. Go home. Hello, Lele. And yes, he definitely is pretty useless. But I still feel like it's an act for something. Ooh, for my Horn King Overblot, I have too much. If I were to make a fanfic or whatever, the game, it'd be longer than Malleus's book. He got the Sooms home and not you. Yep, he prioritized the strange little creatures over us. That's why I also think he summoned us for a purpose. I was also talking to a friend about what Crowley's unique magic could be, and I definitely think it has something to do with summoning. Like, he's covered in mirrors, too, and mirrors are places... Well, mirrors are things in Twisted Wonderland for teleporting people from one place to another. Which is why I do think that he has, like... He probably has some sort of summoning unique magic. Not that he's just good at summoning, but that his unique magic is specifically about summoning. Also, why does his cape thing look like wings? I personally think it's because he is a fairy. Kind of like, Lilia and Malleus. He got the ears. I just saw his key says Raven. Yeah, that's why I have this image up. Because it's something that even in his regular, like, 2D art, promotional art, he had Raven on the walking key stick thing. It's just hard to notice sometimes because it's like upside down, mirrored, and backwards. It's hard to tell it says Raven until you actually look at it, and you're like, oh, I see it. This is some Kingdom Hearts type stuff. Yeah. That's also why I feel like he has something related to, summoning. Because, like, Kingdom Hearts, you travel around to other worlds a lot. And he's just walking around with a giant key. And keys open doors. And doors are like other worlds. And the mirrors are able to take you from one place to another. Like a doorway. I'm cooking. I am cooking. This man is up to something. He's trying to summon something. He's trying to do something, and he needed to summon somebody from a magicless world for whatever he's cooking. That's what I think. I also just have a funny joke theory that the only reason he got the Night Raven College headmaster position is because he fought the previous one. Kind of like how some of the dorm leaders, they can challenge the current dorm leader to be the dorm leader. So, that explains Crowley and how incompetent he is at running a school. The Horn King was a human in my Overblot story before Mickey put him in the book. Ooh, I like that. Another question. Do we even know how Crowley got the position? Did he usurp it? Is he a Nepo baby, or did the principal before him transfer out of office? That's also a good question, because I think it's either Tren or Crowley. I think it was Tren who mentioned that Crowley has been headmaster for a long time. And Tren's been a teacher there for a long time, so... It's suspicious. The Horn King was the prefect before prefect. Crowley and Nepo, baby. And, like, also Crowley just casually lets Lilia attend Night Raven College after, like, with, like, a 300-something-year-old invitation. So, I feel like he's up to something. He knows things. He may not be Malleus's missing father, but he's probably related to Malleus's missing father. I wouldn't be surprised. I believe that more than the Crowley is Malleus's father thing. Because again, there is a difference between crows and ravens. So maybe Crowley's related to Revern, but they're not the same person. I hope so, because then that'd be cringe. Oh, and Crowley knows about Mickey and the Horn King in my Overblot story. Ooh. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention, he's the one that gives us that camera. That's kind of just been abandoned plot-wise so far. Because it's like, oh yeah, here's a special camera for you to take pictures, and the pictures move and make memories, and it's like, okay, why do we have this? Does this have more significant purpose than what, than just being for, like, an explanation as to why there's all these, cards in the game? Like, I wonder if that'd be explained. Because I know that we're supposed to be getting a 7.5, rather than just the next book. So I'm wondering. Crowley also seems to just not know how to run a school very well, considering that he's let Azul kind of run rampant for like 2 years with the Monster Lounge. So it's like, do you know how to run a school well or not? You've been doing this for a very long time, and yet why would you do this? Why would you let one of the students just run a restaurant and then have half the staff be people who made terrible contracts with him to the point where they can't even use their magic for school? And for the split soul of me, because each blot is a trauma blot, and the most harmless is Dragon Adriana, also known as Malleus' overblot version of Adriana Ikium. Ooh. I love your lore. I really do. I'm checking my notes again for things to talk about because I wrote them down ahead of time, so I'm not just sitting here for hours kind of just like, oh. Also, why would Crowley have a dorm near a graveyard and not take care of the ghosts? Yeah, that's also interesting. Then again, it was an old abandoned building that he just kind of left there. Because he did mention that the Scarabia dorm was completely renovated when they let Colleen enter the school. Which is also why I think Crowley does a lot of weird, shady deals. Because it's like, oh, so you just... You don't really know how to plan things, so you're just gonna make strange deals with people in order to get what you need. Okay, Crowley. And the most dangerous is Queen Octo Adriana. Think you can guess which one she's based off of? Ooh. Ursula. Azul. Old or not, he could have relocated it. It's probably because, like, if you think about it, if he's trying to run this, and he's not very good with money, it was probably because it was too expensive to tear it down. Unless he needed it for something. Specifically to house a magicless student. Because that is the first place he ends up putting, the main character, which is us. Along with the fact that, Night Raven College is also very old, and a lot of the dorms have changed over the years. And they're all, like, not really located on the island where Night Raven College is. They're, like, off somewhere else. Because, like, the active and out one is literally in the ocean. And the only way to get to almost all those dorms is through the mirrors. Which makes me wonder, where exactly are those dorms located? Like, are they in their own little mini little universe? Or are they just somewhere else in the world? Like, is the Heartslebule dorm somewhere in the Queendom of Roses? And it's just off limits to everybody except the Night Raven College students? Like, I'm curious about that now. I don't think it's ever been fully explained, other than just, oh yeah, you get to the dorms through the mirrors. But since this one old dorm is literally the only thing on campus, we put the magicless student there. With ghosts as roommates. But I also wrote down that I think that Crowley knows exactly what Grimm is. And is just playing dumb. Because for some reason Grimm is attracted to eating the overblot stones. But here's another important question. Is Night Raven in person only, or can it be both in person and online? Ooh, is it modern? That is also a good question. I don't think so, because then Ida wouldn't be there. If Ida could attend Night Raven College online, he would not be here. He wouldn't have to deal with having to be there in person. It also makes me wonder if some of the dorms are actually, like, somewhere on the island, but we just don't see them because they're, like, not on the actual campus. Because, like, the Ignahide dorm looks like it's underground. But, like, it doesn't look like there's any windows in there. I mean, there's windows in the rooms, but it's, like, I don't think that it's actually, like, you see outside. I think they're, like, fake windows. And then, like, the Diasomnia dorm is kind of just, like, the Forbidden Mountain. I believe the theory about Crowley knowing about Grimm. Yeah. I do think he plays it off like he doesn't know what this creature is and why it's in the school. Just, you know, to save face. Of like, oh, I don't know what's happening. Oh, I'm totally not plotting something. I'm totally not letting students overblot for nefarious purposes. Because again, he was interviewed by Styx at a certain point. Like, they took him in for questioning because they're like, yo, there's been like 5 overblots at this school alone in like 6 months. What is going on over there? The Insomnia is a forbidden mountain. Doesn't that sound strange? Well, I mean, it is based off of Maleficent's castle, which is in the Forbidden Mountain, so... Because that was what it was called in the movie. And that's kind of what it looks like. It just straight up looks like that. Kind of like how Night Raven College just straight up looks like the Disney World castle, which is supposed to be Cinderella's castle, but not really. But like that's what it looks like. Cause I think the Briar Valley Melanor's castle looks a lot more like the Sleeping Beauty castle. From the movie specifically. And I like that about this game. Like, the locations look very, like, very pretty interpretations of, like, actual movie locations. It's so pretty. I love that. And also something that I was talking about a little bit earlier, too, is that Crowley just casually has transformation potions on him. And, like, we learned from, like, Azul and Jade and Floyd that transformation potions are pretty much heavily regulated. Because they're specifically part of a program for, like, you know, mer people going from the ocean to the land and stuff like that. So it's like, this stuff is, like, regulated. How do you just casually have a potion that'll turn you into a ghost? Just so that way you can test us and Grimm as a unit. Suspicious behavior, if you ask me. He is very suspicious. And the fact that he just completely ignores the emergency phone that he gives us in the Scarabia chapter during the entirety of the Scarabia chapter. And the only people who bother to show up and respond towards the end of the Scarabia chapter are Deuce and Ace after they tried their best to get back to the island. Like, they got the message and they were, like, quick to try and get over there, even though it took them forever. Whereas Crowley... not really. It's almost like he gave us a terrible phone on purpose. That's why I still say he is suspicious. Either that or he's just really bad at his job and that's why he hates Ambrose, the 63rd. Who is the head master of Royal Sword Academy, which is, like, across the island. And that's why he hates him. It's like, how can he run a school better than me? I've been doing this for hundreds of years. Yeah, something about Crowley is strange. I do think he's plotting something. I personally think that he's trying to revive the Great Seven using these overblots that are very suspiciously like the overblot, that are suspiciously like the Great Seven. Along with the fact that when Crowley is taken over to Styx, it makes me wonder, what was he doing besides being interviewed? How long was he there being interrogated? Did he cause the events to happen? in the Ignihide chapter. Very suspicious. Let me see, do I have any other images for Crowley? Not really. We can just put this back up. Why is this image bigger than the other one? I don't know. We'll just have him right here. Beckoning us to the mirror. A very suspicious mirror. Along with the fact that the mirror chamber is actually, like, a place that can't be photographed, apparently. It's also suspicious, because that makes me think there's something in here. That's very important. You know, besides the mirrors. Because the dark mirror specifically seems to be very important. As well as it's also connected to the mirror from Snow White. And Crowley is probably connected to the crow from Snow White, so... That's why I strongly believe that he's more related to that other than Revern. Or Maleficent's Raven. Yeah, I'm onto something. I am onto something. This man is suspicious. And I cannot wait for the day we actually see what he looks like underneath that mask. Because so far, if you try to take it off of him, you don't get anything. It's like they thought ahead that, like, oh, you're not gonna see what his face looks like until you're supposed to, okay? For now, he just has voids for eyes. You will not know what his face looks like until you're supposed to see it. Also, if you hadn't noticed, the claw things on his hands also look like Vil's overbought claw things. Which is also, again, why I think they're connected! Because, he has, like, these not, like, these ring claw things. Let me just bring up this image, because I can zoom in on his hand again. Yes. As you can see here, not only is he decked out in mirrors and keys, the little claw things on his hand kind of look like raven skulls. Well, they're just claws, but, Vil has raven skulls. Or crow skulls. But again, that's why I think they're so similar. Hello, Adriana! Welcome back! We're still being suspicious about Crowley. Crowley being suspicious. Indeed, indeed. I also kind of think he's a useful idiot as well. Like, maybe he's in on some sort of secret plot, but he doesn't know everything about it. But considering that he's kind of... It's like too goofy, but suspicious. I think he just knows what he's doing. But he's pretending that he doesn't know what he's doing. Very Undertaker-coded, this one. Which is why I think that. But also, man, he has a lot of keys on him. It's like, what do those keys open anyway? Oh, and I forgot to say that my split souls are based off of the characters who were close to the 7. Ooh. Interesting. I love that. So I guess I might wrap this up, because I'm kind of running out of my notes about Crowley. But in conclusion, Crowley is probably planning something. He's probably trying to revive the Great Seven using whatever kind of creature Grimm is. And he needs to have the students overblood in order for it to work. I think he purposely summoned the main character. He purposely created Grimm, or at least knows where Grimm came from. And he's purposely using it to try and revive the Great Seven for nefarious purposes. And I also think he has connections to the Evil Queen, rather than Maleficent or Crowley's father, or Malleus's father. The end. Also, it's a choice to have his card be just the mirror chamber twice. Because the other staff cards, they're like in one location, in one image, and then another one in the next uncapped version of the image, but Crowley is just mirror chamber and mirror chamber. So it makes me very suspicious of him. He probably has a unique magic based off of summoning. In order, King of Hearts, Morgana Ursula, Iago Genie Jafar, the Raven from Snow White, Meg Pain or Panic, and none for the last, it is just a dragon. Ooh, interesting. I like that, and digging into some of the other characters that are kind of connected, but not really. I like that. Probably a dumb and stupid, edgy version of Walt Disney. Maybe. But I think Ambrose kind of might be the twist version, because like he's definitely the twist version of Merlin, but he also could be Yensid at the same time. Twist isn't really against the idea of having characters be based on multiple characters at once, so. But I still don't know about Crowley. He could be both the Crow and the Raven. He could be just the Crow. We'll never know. And I also keep forgetting to pronounce his name correctly, because it's supposed to be pronounced Deer, and I keep pronouncing it as Dire. Because like that's what it looks like, but no, it's pronounced Dire Crowley. But yeah, he plotting. He's plotting something. I can feel it. But he just puts on a very silly, I don't really know what I'm doing, incompetent act. Yeah. Yeah. I think I am done for today. I have yapped about Crowley enough. He's still a very suspicious entity. I did hear that Kato was also based off of King of Hearts. Also, yeah, I do the same with his name. Like, it's Dire, not Deer. It is actually Deer. His name was actually retconned a little bit after the game came out. Because it was initially Dire, and then it's like, oh no, wait, no, it's pronounced Deer. I like Deer better. And it's like, okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I do also, just like a fun fact about Cater, his eyes initially were reddish before they were green. And that was like changed around the time the game actually came out. So like for a very brief window of time, his eyes were like red. Why dear, though? It sounds like a weird song name. I think it's just supposed to be a play on his little phrase of like, I'm oh so generous, like he's oh so kind and helpful. When he's not really helpful, he's just kind of useless. But anyways, tomorrow's probably just gonna be another yapping session, but a different topic because like I can't really draw and yap like I used to on like one screen. I need 2 screens for drawing, so we're just gonna be yapping for the rest of the week. I'll probably make another set of notes just to talk about things again, but yeah. Bye-bye!